How you doing, everybody? My name is Sean Ferrer. I'm not a YouTuber. This is not something that I normally do, but I have been an advocate of politics for over a decade. I'm a Republican conservative. To give you a little bit of personal information about myself, did I vote for Trump? Yes. Do I believe that my decisions are always correct? Probably not. But I do believe in Ben Shapiro's theory of facts over your feelings. So on my channel, I'll be talking about political facts and different innuendos of leftist myths. Things that, as far as I'm concerned, a normal person really shouldn't be paying attention to, or they should be paying attention to, because at this point the left is basically taking over our culture and we need to fight back to get it back. That's the way it works. Okay, if you're a Republican conservative and you're listening to this video, I hope that you have the standpoint and the courage to fight back against the cultural aspects of the left. What they're doing to our culture at this point is astronomically horrible. All of a sudden, now I'm 41 years old, and men are not men anymore. Men can be women. Women can be men. Biologically, that's impossible. But we're supposed to go by the PC pronouns and, just go along with the whole entire thing. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm not willing to do that. I'm a father. I raise a family. I'm a hard worker, and I'm also a painter. I'm a construction worker. I'm just your average guy that pays his taxes and does exactly what he's supposed to do. It just so happens that I tend to study politics. That being said, I think that this would actually be beneficial to me for the simple fact that it's something that I'll be able to get off my chest. Topic number one that I did want to speak about today was something that the mass media will not actually publicate, and which I think is really asinine and definitely biased. On the idea that, okay, in the recent media, or actual recent crime, okay, the big story right now is the white guy that went into a couple of massage parlors and shot a few Korean women. And they're trying to say that that is racially motivated. I do not believe it was racially motivated because there's no evidence to point to that fact. Okay, but on the other token, there was another story that nobody's ever heard of, apparently. At least only my conservative podcast members actually have heard about it and actually, publicized about it. Is the 14 and 16-year-old black children that decided to break into a white man's house and burn him over 70% of his body, stay there for a little while and watch him burn, and then he dies. Now, forget about the race. Forget about race. I could care less whether they're black, white, purple, yellow, it doesn't matter. What is going on with our culture in this country that a 14-year-old thought it would be okay, completely no problem here, to go into a white man's house and burn him alive? Like, nobody knows what the factual information is behind this because, of course, I actually don't. I kind of follow the same rule as Ben Shapiro on the idea that I don't say the name of the murderer. Reason why is because I'm not trying to give him fame. He is an evil, sadistic individual, and as far as I'm concerned, should be prosecuted to the full extent of the law, if not death penalty. I'm also into capital punishment. I believe in my Second Amendment rights, and sorry. He is going publicly saying that he was a sex addict and this was a crime of passion or lust or something of that nature, and he just basically hated these people because of the business they were in. Okay, that being said, let's put that aside. Let's go back to the first statement. The first statement was, what is wrong with our culture that a 14 and a 16-year-old child Children. These are children. These are teenagers. Yes, you know what? You could call them almost adults or young adults or whatever you want to call them. But I'm letting you know right now, at 14 and 16 years old, these are children. What would possess them? What type of training, what type of atmosphere did they grow up in to be able to think that something heinous like this, evil like this, is okay? This is completely acceptable by our culture and our society. As far as I'm concerned, not in the United States. This is not something that should be accepted nor tolerated or okay with, you know what I mean? This is not PC. This has nothing to do with race. This is plain out horrible parenting. This is horrible teachings that the youth of today is now experiencing. These are the things that I want to talk about in my podcast on the idea of, look, you know, I have children. Do I believe that my 14-year-old son would ever think that something like this was okay? No, not at all, because he was raised on a set of principles and values. Okay, I believe being a conservative is all based on values. That's what conservatives do. We want to conserve our root values, how we were raised, how we had to become into polite society. And, you know, I'm not going to say that I haven't done anything bad in my life. I'm sure I have. Matter of fact, after this podcast goes out, I'm sure that there'll probably be a whole bunch of people out there trying to look up me and, you know, find out, oh God, you know, he's such a horrible guy. But let's look past that. Let's move forward. Okay? Let's move on to the next topic I wanted to talk about. The idea that it's completely okay to cancel anybody that does not agree with the woke. That's what I call it. Well, that's what they're called, but that's what I always like to do, the quotes. The woke. Okay? First of all, the woke don't care about you. They only care about themselves. That's what they do. They want to ruin people's lives and destroy people's lives about tweets that they made 10 years ago, about decisions going to parties that they did in college 5 years ago. They will go at and do whatever they can to make sure that you do not succeed as long as you do not go along with their political and cultural values that they believe are right. That in my mind, that is not the way human society should go along, especially in the United States. I mean, we consider ourselves a free country, and we are allotted certain freedoms. That being said, what makes them think that the silent majority, such as myself, is not eventually going to stand up and stand back and go, you know what? I don't think I'm going to allow you to do this today. Makes you wonder. You know, I see a lot of stuff on Facebook. I see a lot of stuff on Twitter, Snapchat. I mean, there's so many different platforms. And most of the time, I actually do not get in political debates with people on social platforms. And the reason why is for the simple fact that I usually spend the next 4 hours arguing with some idiot that wants to basically express his opinion to me while I'm expressing facts. That's very annoying. And it takes up most of my day, and I really don't want to have it rent space in my head. Now, do you as an American citizen think that it's completely okay for this type of behavior to happen? Is this the type of society or culture that we want to raise our children to become part of? Like, how about this? Let's take a step back and let's just go into government. The last stimulus package that was just passed was $1.9 trillion, okay? Which, first of all, most of that basically went to bail out Democrat, horribly run cities. Okay? They lost a whole bunch of revenue. California's revenue right now is being taken care of by a $1.9 trillion stimulus package that is completely devaluating our dollar and raising the national debt beyond, comprehension at this point. You know what I'm worried about? I'm not really worried about myself. I'm worried about my 14-year-old son. Because this type of stuff is not going to actually hit or even become effective until 4 or 5 years from now. And that'll be right around the time when my precious son is going into the job market, starting a career. And his taxes are going to go through the roof. But you know what? Democrats don't want to hear that. All they want to do is big government, lots of spending, don't worry about it, no big deal. But they don't see what it is like, you ever hear the expression like, you're only sitting in the present, you don't look to the future? See, one thing that I realize is Republican conservatives, we look towards the future. We think about that kind of stuff. We think about what type of, horrible implications are going to be brought on us due to the actions that we take today. Now, I'm not going to say all Republicans are great. We're not. Just like all Democrats aren't bad. They're not. But at the same time, we really need to start to realize, there are really bad people on both left and right sides of the aisle. All I'm asking for America to do is just wake up. Please. Just, like I said, I'm not a person in public service. I wish I was, but I'm not. That train flew a long time ago. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a political commentator. I'm a painter. I'm a father. There you go. That's what I do. But I'm also intelligent. I'm a college graduate. I don't listen to propaganda. I don't listen to conspiracy theories. I'm not QAnon or anything of that nature. Okay, I don't support Black Lives Matter. I don't support Antifa. I don't support hate groups, period. Okay? I'm not racist. I could care less what color you are as long as you speak to me in respect. I could care less. Doesn't matter to me. But this is the normal average individual talking to you. I just want you people to think. Open your mind, as most of the woke say that their minds are way open. And they're not. Like, let me ask you this. Aside from the disturbance at the Capitol, okay, which, sadly enough, that was some really stupid, evil Republicans, I'm assuming. I don't know the evidence behind it. But, yeah, they acted stupidly. They did some horrible things. But, at the same time, they took pictures with their feet on Nancy Pelosi's desk. Would I like to do something like that? Of course I would. And matter of fact, most conservatives would. That being said, besides that, when was the last time that you saw a left-wing group doing something positive or doing something, has to say, non-violent? I literally watched cities burn for months. No problem. Yeah, I'm sure there was prosecutions and stuff, but last I heard they were dropping like 21 cases and stuff of, basically domestic terrorists, burning down police stations, court buildings, federal buildings, things like that. No big deal. A couple of Republicans get into a town square and start to march because of something they believe. That's big news. Everybody's horrified now. Everybody's scared. Why? Because we're taking the game to your doorstep? I'm letting you know there's a storm coming in this country. We're not going to sit back anymore and just deny it and go, okay, well, you just stay on your side of the fence and I'll stay on my side of the fence and everything's going to be fine. It's not going to happen like that anymore. It's a waste of time for us to continue to do that. You want to know why? Because we're losing the cultural battle. Literally all of Hollywood has already lost the cultural battle. Music is losing the cultural battle. You want to listen to some music? Listen to Tom MacDonald. Okay? There are people out there, as long as you look for them, like myself, that are well educated, look past all of the BS that's in the mainstream media, because first of all, the mainstream media, if you're like me, they're completely against you. That's the way it works. They don't like you. You know, big orange man, bad, that whole thing. Okay? If you want to be informed, all you have to do is look for it. If you want to be educated, all you have to do is read, watch, observe. Things like that will get you a whole lot further in life than to just sit back and ignore. That being said, I wish you guys adieu. I hope you guys have a great night. Thanks for watching. Have a good evening. I'm Sean Ferrer.